So, about towards the end of last year, I made a video called Top 10 Metal Gear Solid Weapons, where I ranked 10 Metal Gear weapons that I thought were the best in regards to their balancing. And for the sniper category, I put the MD-2000 from Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, I did this for two reasons. The first being that it ties directly into the gameplay loop of you scout a base, you trank the soldiers, you bring them back to your base, rinse and repeat. And I also did this for the second reason of because it's a sniper rifle, it can do this at much longer ranges and lends itself very well to the open world design of the game. However, I really regret this, because it's not balanced well. Just because it ties directly into the gameplay loop and works in the open world doesn't change the fact that unlocking this rifle becomes a dominant strategy. It's like a trank pistol on steroids. Once you have this, there's no reason to use anything else in the sandbox, and it turns the game into a cakewalk since there's no real way to counter it, aside from a few weird niche scenarios. Then I was playing Snake Eater a lot more, and I started experimenting with the different weapons, because much in the same way as the MD-2000 is a dominant strategy in Metal Gear Solid 5, the MK-22 tends to be the dominant strategy in Snake Eater. So I did a playthrough where I didn't use the MK-22 and instead just tried to experiment with all the different weapons in the game. And I realized the SVD is freaking amazing, like wow! So today I wanted to make a video appreciating Snake Eater's SVD and explaining why I believe it is the best balanced sniper rifle in Snake Eater. So without further ado, I'm Pliskin and let's get right on into it. So first, I think it's good that we go over how the SVD works in this game. Now, unlike other weapons in this game, you get immediately locked into first person and can't move as soon as you take out the SVD. From here, you can shoot from the hip or aim down the scope to fire. So there's basically three phases in using the SVD. You take it out, you survey your environment while you're holding the SVD, you scope in, and then adjust your scope for the shot you're trying to make. Now, the reason why a lot of people, including myself, usually write this rifle off as just something you use to fight the end is because a lot of the time in Snake Eater, you're in either a dense jungle or an indoor environment. So using an unsuppressed sniper rifle is a really easy way to get an alert. However, there are some areas in this game where the SVD reigns supreme. Take the desert plateau sections, for example. Whoa. Everybody shut the fuck up. Everyone shut up. We're getting one of those like 144p like little mini survival viewer cutscenes. Oh. Oh. Eat that steak. Oh. Nice. I realized while toying around with this that enemies can't hear the shot if you fire at them from far away enough. So you can clear out these entire areas using this sniper rifle without getting a caution. Of course, if there's an enemy nearby and they hear you fire this, you might get a caution and an alert. But this is not such a bad thing, because this brings up one of the things I really like about the SVD and something I really want to draw attention to. It encourages the usage of other sandbox elements. So for example, if I'm on this desert plateau and there's a lot of guys really close by me, I can use something like the M16 to thin out their numbers, make sure no one's around me, and then use the SVD to just finish everyone else off. There's also the section where you're inside the jungle and you find the house there where the M63 is. Now, this is a much trickier area to use the SVD effectively, but again, utilizing other sandbox elements can make it viable. So what I like to do here is take a couple claymores and line up this area leading to this perch with a bunch of traps. So even if the enemy gets triggered in an alert and they try to come up and rush me, I can negate their enforcement teams by having the claymores kill them all like when they run into it. So I buy myself more time to use the SVD to clear out the house before I move in. There's also this area at the top of the mountain after you meet Eva, where you can use the SVD to actually scope a couple guys while they're in Groznygrad, and of course hit this little Gakko frog. If you miss your shots though, you might be in for a deadly surprise. And then of course you have the section where if you're smart and you get the SVD early from this warehouse, you can kill the end and negate his entire boss fight later on. But you can also dodge his little wheel that flies at you and then use the SVD in tandem with the explosive barrels in the environment to take out all the guys that are already there and the assault team that's going to start coming in to investigate. So with 1 or 2 shots, you can clear out this entire area of enemies using the SVD. So why am I even bringing this up? Well, yeah, it's cool to point out just how freaking amazingly the SVD is balanced in a way where not only does it carve out its own niche and purpose, but also encourages you to experiment with more of the sandbox items. But now that we have a remake coming on the way, there is a lot of potential as to what we could do to expand how the SVD works. The Snake Eater remake is going to be coming out on modern hardware, which means we can play around a lot more with distances. And if we retain the mechanic of enemies not being able to hear us past certain distances, then we could get a lot of opportunities, very similar to when we're perched up on the mountain and looking over Groznygrad, where we could snipe guys from really far away. Now you might be thinking, Pliskin, why is this something so exciting? Well, you know how in Snake Eater you can already use TNT to go into enemy guard shacks and blow them up, and you can either make them starved or weaken the certain firearms that they could be using, for example taking them from an AK down to a Scorpion? Well, what if with the SVD we can see areas ahead of time and take out certain items or guards of interest? So imagine if in the remake we're sitting perched up on top of this mountain here, we scope down and we see one of the guys manning the searchlights. Now let's say we use the SVD to damage one of the searchlights ahead of time. And then later on, once we get to Groznygrad, that searchlight isn't going to be active, making it easier to sneak around. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Little opportunities where if players are observant and if they are utilizing the SVD, we can find ways to help ourselves later. And of course, yes, just make certain areas a little bit bigger so the SVD is more so viable in more situations, because it's really fun to use. However, going by what we've seen from screenshots, it seems like they're just going to be making these areas one for one, recreating them with the exact same kind of distance, spacing, and all of that. So it's unlikely, but I really hope they do something to expand the SVD. But hey, even if they don't, the SVD is still amazing for all the reasons and situations that I just brought up. So we could literally be playing the remake and the SVD could work the exact same and it would still be awesome. I just wanted to mention that, it would be a great opportunity to expand what we could do, not just with the SVD, but with other firearms in the game. I'm just using the SVD as an example because there's a lot of out-of-the-box tactics to utilize with this gun. But yeah, ultimately, I just wanted to bring this up. And one of the main things I really want you to get out of this video is next time you play through Snake Eater, try some of the weirder weapons. Try some of the weapons that you just hold off for certain situations. Try using them a lot more. I know it's really tempting to try to use the MK22 and just fly through the game, but challenge yourself a little bit. Try out the sandbox and see what other combinations you figure out. Like, who knows? Maybe you do a playthrough with the SVD and you find a new tactic. You pair it together with flashbangs or whatever, and it works really well for an area I've never tried it in. If you already have a story like that, please let me know down in the comments, because I would love to try it out. But yeah, I just want to encourage everyone to really take advantage of all the ways this amazing game allows you to tackle the situations that it throws at you. Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna rant anymore. This has been Pliskin. I really love the SVD. Over and out.
This is Solid Snake. Hey, subscribe to Pliskin Boy. God damn it.
You heard him.